Sitting with the suffering, no one said a word to Job, because they saw how great his suffering was. The book of Job tells the story of a wealthy, righteous man in the land of Uz who loses his children, wealth, and health after God allows Satan to test him. Despite immense suffering, Job maintains his faith, challenges God's justice, and ultimately finds restoration after grappling with profound questions of suffering. Job's righteousness is on par with that of Daniel and Noah. At the beginning of his career, Job appears to be a very rich man, with many livestock and a large household. Satan sees Job's spiritual and material prosperity and slanders him before God, affirming that Job's spirituality will crumble if his material assets are removed. Satan slanders Job. God allows Satan to put Job through a period of testing, and soon, through a series of catastrophes, the good man loses his children, his servants, and his livestock. Job's faith withstands these trials, and he refuses to blame God or fall into sin. Job amid the storm, capturing the powerful moment of faith and endurance through adversity. He endures in suffering. Job unwavering faith despite profound suffering and loss in contemplation. Job took a piece of broken pottery for scratching, to scrape away the epidermal remnants of the infected skin decay. Job's wife, overwhelmed by grief after losing their children, wealth, and Job's health, scolds him, saying, "Are you still trying to maintain your integrity? Curse God and die." She was in despair in his trials, while Job maintains his faith, stating that they should accept both good and bad from God. Job's three friends Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar sitting in silence with Job after witnessing his immense suffering. They remained with him for 7 days and nights, not saying a word. Their silence is a response to the overwhelming grief and pain that Job is experiencing. When you in my condition, how do you respond? In sorrow or in comfort, love God. Don't blame, trust God, for His way is higher than your ways. If life hits rock bottom, maintain your faith. Accept both good and bad from God. Will you still believe in God's plan after losing everything? Job believed God had turned away from him, no matter how people responded to the terrible losses. Job resolved to praise God. While in trauma, suffering, or loss, it is foolish to surrender your faith. With perseverance and endurance, overcome it. Finally, you will be strengthened. Job let out his frustrations to his 3 friends. His suffering was so great that he wished he had never been born. He questions why God gives life to those who live in misery and turmoil. He complains about his suffering and lack of peace. Satan thought he had taken everything from Job, but God was his everything. Temporary trials act like a refiner's fire, testing and purifying a Christian's faith to prove it is genuine. Because this enduring faith is more valuable than gold, it will result in ultimate praise, honor, and glory when Jesus Christ returns. Refined faith is genuine faith. Every challenge you're facing is not meant to break you, but to refine you. God is making something beautiful out of your pain. Your faith is becoming unshakable, your spirit unmovable, and your testimony unstoppable. These trials will show that your faith is genuine. It is being tested as fire tests and purifies gold. Fire purifies impurities, so a trials purifies sin. Job lost everything he had. Ultimately, God gave him double portion. Trials can be difficult to bear, but God will reward those whose faith is steadfast and truthful. Genuine faith: blameless, upright, God-fearing, obedient, lovable, spiritual thirst, prayerful, faithful to God.